All right. Going to shift gears just a little bit, okay? We're going to get into a little bit of the coordinate plane, a little bit of kind of graphing kind of stuff, okay? Specifically today, we're going to talk about relations, and how we can represent those as far as maps, tables, and graphs, okay? All right, I would jot this down. A relation is just a set of ordered pairs. A set of ordered pairs. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. Now, please keep in mind, and we should know this, every ordered pair of numbers, that set of parentheses, okay, got two numbers in there. It's an x value and a y value. So every ordered pair comes to us as an x and a y value, okay? Both of those numbers describe one point on a graph, hence the x-axis and the y-axis, okay? Should be familiar with that. So what I've got listed up there, 2, 3, negative 3, 5, 0, negative 4, and 1, 2, those are just four ordered pairs of numbers. Okay, that set of ordered pairs is what we would call a relation. That's all a relation is, okay? Just a set of ordered pairs. Now, beyond that, those next two words, domain and range, we need to be very familiar with those words, okay? Domain is your x values. Domain describes your x values, whereas range is your y values. Domain is x, range is y. What are the x values in those ordered pairs? Give me the x values of those ordered pairs. 2, negative 3, 0, and 1. So if I wanted the domain of that relation, that would be the domain of that relation. 2, negative 3, 0, and 1. But again, we have to understand what they're asking for. So if they start talking to you about domain, we want to associate domain with x values. And it's that simple, okay? What would be the range values?
3, 5, negative 4, and 2.
3, 5, negative 4, and 2. Very good. Okay? List the domain and the range of the relation. X and Y values. It's that easy. Okay? Any questions here? Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Domain and range.
I'm still writing range.
Okay? All right, we good? Everybody good? All right. Okay, this is more of what you're going to be doing today. And again, we're going to try to get comfortable taking a relation and expressing it as a table, a graph, or a map, or a mapping, okay? So here we go. The relation. You've got the relation there. You've got the relation as negative 2, negative 1, 3, 3, and 4, 3. That is the relation. We are going to represent that relation using three different things here, okay? The first one is going to be as a graph, okay? Negative 2, negative 1. So we're going to go here to the graph, to the coordinate plane. Negative 2, negative 1. I'm going to start at the origin. Where would you go first?
Left.
Left how many?
1.
1. 2, negative 2.
Left 2.
Down 1.
Down 1, okay? So the point -2, -1 is going to be right there. There's -2, -1. Okay? Anytime we're plotting an ordered pair, we're always going to go right or left first, hence the x value, and then we will go up and down for that y value. So it's two movements that describes one point. How about the point 3, 3? Where would we go first? Go, Tiger.
Go over 3.
Go right 3
And then up 3.
and then up 3. That is correct. Right 3, up 3. There's the point 3, 3.
Wait, do I have to write the express the relation in as a
I would not.
Okay.
Because again, remember, I'll have this, you'll be able to go back and see this recording. Okay? What about the point 4, 3?
I say you go over 4 and then go up 3.
Go over which way?
To the right.
To the right. And then where? Up 3. Right 4, up 3. There you go. There's 4, 3. Okay? So we have taken that relation, we've taken three ordered pairs of numbers, and we have plotted those onto a graph. We have now represented the relation as a graph. Okay? Questions there? Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Next one. Those two, guys, and it could be two ovals, it could be two kind of squarish looking figures, okay? We're going to do, this is what they call a mapping, okay? Here's the mapping right here, okay? If those ovals are not defined for you, if they are not defined for you, the one on the left will be your x values, the one on the right will be your y values. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. In this oval right here, we're going to list the x values. What are the x values? -2, 3, and 4. List those in there just like that.
Oh, do we have to draw the oval?
X values on the left, -2, 3, and 4. On the right, we're going to list the y values. -1.
3, 3.
Now, if there is a repeat number, you do not need to list it twice. So on the right side, you're going to notice all I'm going to write in there is a -1 and a 3. Now, all a mapping does is a visual that's going to show you which x value connects to which y value. So here's what we're going to do from here. We've got the ordered pair -2, -1. So I'm going to draw an arrow from -2 over to -1.
He's teaching you.
Okay, Tiger. It's okay.
Calm down. It's not that
3, 3. We're going to draw an arrow from 3 over to 3. And we've also got 4, 3, so there's going to be an arrow from the 4 to the 3 as well. Guys, that's all a mapping is. A mapping is just going to literally show you which x value matches with which y value. And again, if you have numbers that repeat, you only need to list them one time. But that's all that is. You're just drawing arrows to numbers. Questions about the mapping? Okay. Last one is a table. It's like a T-chart. Okay? Comes in a couple different forms. This is a vertical T-chart, vertical chart here. And as you can already tell, quite simply, all we're going to do is list the x values on the left, which are what? -2, 3, and 4. And your y values that match those are -1, 3, and 3.
I thought we didn't put it twice.
Well, that's only for the mapping. If you have a table of values, you are going to list every X value, every Y value, because you're just taking the ordered pairs and listing them in a table. That's all that is. Very, very simple. That is a graph, a mapping, and a table. Now, if I said, what is the domain of the relation? What's the domain of the relation?
I think it's 2. -2.
Are you good to go?
What kind of values are domain values?
-2, 3, 4.
What kind of values are domain values?
They are X values.
They are X values. What are the X values of the relation?
-2, 3, 4.
3.
-2, 3, and 4. So again, they start talking to you about domain and range. We need to know what they're asking about. Okay, what would be the range of the relation?
The Y values.
1. I mean X values. I mean Y values.
Right.
-1.
-1 and
3.
3. Again, if you're listing domain and range, if there are repeats, you do not need to repeat them. Sit outside for a minute. I'll be with you in just a minute.
You put it on.
Hurry, Henry.
Could you please?
Okay? A graph, a mapping, and a table, and then we list domain and range. Questions? Guys, really pretty simple. You just have to know what they're asking about. Okay? Especially the mapping. The mapping is very, very simple. Okay? Domain and range, very, very simple, but we get kind of caught up in the terminology. Okay. All right, some of you guys have already been in and seen this. Okay, here's what you got today. Okay, you're gonna have to express the relation as a table, a mapping, and a graph. So I think, hopefully by this point, based on what we just did, this becomes pretty self-explanatory. Okay, 1A right here, 1A. Again, you are simply going to list those X values in the table: -2, 3. 4, and your Y values would be what? -1, 3, and 3. If it's in a table format, you are going to list every value. Okay? Table format, list every value.
Are we drawing the whole graph out on paper?
I'm going to show you what I'd have you do. Okay? Just give me a second.
Oh, do you have some scissors up here?
Yeah, give me just a minute here. Mapping, list your X values on the left, -2, 3, and 4. Only need to list the Y values one time. So we got -1 and 3, and then draw your arrows accordingly. -2 to -1, 3 to 3, 4 to 3. Now, as far as the graph is concerned, there's really no need. You don't need to draw this big elaborate X and Y axis. What I would probably do is I'd do something like this. I'd draw you an X and a Y axis, and I would just make the tick marks for the ordered pairs that are listed. So if you've got -2, -1, I'd do that right there. You've got 3, 3, so I'd go 3 there and 3 there. And then you've also got 4, 3. And that's all I would do. Make that as simple as possible. No need to put like a ton of tick marks on there. Just put the tick marks that are necessary so that you can have them in a graph format. Okay?
So, are we just doing 1A, or are we going to do some others?
Well, there's another page. You will find that in Canvas. Yep. All right, last page. Last page. Check this out. Okay? Again, along the same lines here. Take a look at this one right here. Okay? Notice what they're starting you with. The relation, they have it expressed as a, what do we call this? A mapping. Okay? So you're going to have to look and see how have they got the relation expressed. In this particular one here, they have it related, or they have it expressed as a mapping. Okay? So you're going to have to look at this and say, okay, here's my x values here. Here's my y values. So we've got x and y. What's negative 4 paired up with? Negative 4 is paired up with what? Negative 4 is paired up with?
Negative 2 is 0.
Negative 2. So negative 4, negative 2. What else is negative 4 paired up with? 0. Negative 4, 0. And again, those arrows are going to be very straightforward, okay? So then with a table, there's your x, there's your y. So negative 4, negative 2, negative 4, 0. What is negative 2 paired up with? Negative 2 is paired up with 0. So you're going to have a negative 2 and a 0. Negative 2 and a 0. What's 0 paired up with? 0 is paired up with 2. And what is 2 paired up with?
4.
And then you have 2, 4. That's the last one. And of course, right there in the middle, like I said, don't put more tick marks than you need. Just draw you a little graph. Put the necessary tick marks on there so you can plot those points, and then that's it. You've got it represented. You've got the relation represented as a table, a graph, and as a mapping. But that last page, they're going to give you that as a mapping or a graph or a table, and then you're going to transfer that into ordered pairs of numbers and, of course, the other representations. Okay? But that is all you're doing today. We've got to try to get a little bit cozy with knowing what a relation is, ordered pairs of numbers. Can we identify domain and range? Can we represent it as a graph, a mapping, and or a table? Okay? Just different representations of a relation. Okay? Questions? Any pressing questions?
Maybe we leave that on the board.
I can. You want to leave that right there? Yep.
How many do we do?
You'll do them all.
Do we have to,
You will do them all.
do we have to
Yep.
write like the circles?